So we're just about ready to conclude. Before we do, we have a final special moment. Every year, George Brown College salutes a significant contributor to the early years experience and agenda, and this year we are recognizing Dr. Fraser Mustard, and I'm going to invite our George Brown College's Vice President, Michael Cook, to come up and say a few words in recognition of Fraser.
Thanks, Patricia, and thanks to all of you for inviting me to participate today. I understand, Jane, that this is being videotaped. Is this?
Yes.
Great.
Videotaped.
Because unfortunately, Fraser Mustard can't be here today to receive this award in person. However, Jane tells me that she's going to personally carry this video to Fraser, and that I can expect to hear from him following that. So I want to make sure I've got it right. And what I want to say to you, Fraser, as we offer this award, is that you don't need another award. You probably have your walls and lapels lined with awards, I'm not sure what another award means to you. But I actually want to flip it on its head. This award says more about us in a way than it does about you. In my view, this award is a gauge of our commitment, and I use the word gauge in the sense of engagement. It is a testimony of our commitment to the values that you espouse and to the way that you have worked over a long, long time to promote a profound understanding of the influence of the early years and to get us to put public policy and programming in place that is consistent with what the research tells us. So in giving you this award, we are underlining, first of all, the fact that we understand the message that you have been hammering into us for many, many years. And secondly, we take that message very seriously, and we are committed to put wheels under that message. And we've heard today about a lot of examples that demonstrate both what we have accomplished as a result of our commitment, but also of the road ahead. So some of the key things that we are committing ourselves to in giving you this award is, first of all, evidence-based research and policy, the development of policy that is based in that evidence research. And secondly, we are committing ourselves to putting that research into practice. And we had great examples today from PEI and from New Jersey of folks who are putting that stuff into practice. And in this panel that we've just heard now, examples from Niagara and Toronto and from the school boards across the province. So we're going to put it into practice, and then a third point that you emphasize regularly is the need to evaluate what we learn from those attempts to put things into practice. And the intervention we just heard from Catherine Fife demonstrates lots of learnings. And similarly, the example from Niagara, lots of learnings about when we attempt to put something into practice. And we need to take those learnings and then reintegrate that into policy and the development of implementation. And so when we give you this award, we commit ourselves to all of that work. And finally, we commit ourselves to perhaps what you have done most spectacularly throughout your career, and that is advocacy. And we in Ontario are coming up to a very important provincial election. It's good to hear many of our leaders going into this election espousing the values and the policies and the programs that we believe are essential to the well-being of our children and our society. But we also know that lots gets said during election campaigns, and then comes the hard question of what gets done. So we need to spend our time over the coming weeks and months advocating, pressing, asking questions, assuring ourselves that the leaders we elect are going to do what they say they're going to do. So we honor you today, but most of all, we promise to you that we are going to continue to follow the example that you have set for us, and we are going to put into practice the very profound and wise ways of going about this work that you have demonstrated year in and year out for a very long time. As Jane said to me, I can expect shortly a call from you in which you will make a commentary on all of this, and which you will tell me how we at George Brown College need to get moving on this agenda. I look forward to that call. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. And because you're going to hear this being taped, we're going to do one more round, so Fraser certainly will hear it. Please. So here we are, coming to an end of another Summer Institute. A couple of thank yous, as you would expect. We saluted Zenat Jan Mohammed for many, many reasons, but clearly for her work in putting today together. And I also wanted to salute Kathleen Alexander from George Brown College and her team for the extraordinary way in which she made the day happen. Thank you. These occasions give us opportunities to come together, and many of us have been coming together for many, many years. You can tell that by many ways. One is that we've got 5 faculty retiring this year, and that's an indication of, my gosh, how long we have been working together to make things better and improve this early years agenda. We were kicking around some ideas last night, and what often you do, you think about your own children. And I know I personally have been lucky enough to have 2 kids who spent, actually are graduates of George Brown College. Both were graduates when they were 6 years old of our lab schools, and we were extraordinarily lucky as a family to have that. They both are since graduated. One's a graduate of George Brown College Chef School, and one's graduating a graduate program at York. But when I think back, I know how well they benefited from the extraordinary experiences they had in early years, and we wish that for all children and all families in this province. And we were telling stories, and I reflect on one of my favorite ones with Jonathan. When he was 5, he was tall. He's still tall. He's 6'3". And remember, he stayed in our lab schools till he was 6, and he was about 5.5, and he came home, and I said, "Oh, tell me about your day. Was it a good day? Was it an Easter day?" He goes, "Oh, it was very busy." And I said, "Well, really? What made it so busy?" He goes, "I was in the toddler room." I said, "The toddler room? Oh, that's interesting. Why were you in the toddler room?" He goes, "They were short-staffed." So I know that these early years helped to launch both our guys into wonderful adventures as we go forward, and we were committed through events like this and work together to ensure that happens for all kids and all families. And we're so excited, Olivia, to hear your remarks about how spectacular the Atkinson Centre is in supporting the partnership with OISE, George Brown College, and Atkinson to really think deeply about research that informs policy, that informs practice, and that wonderful diagram about the 3 circles, because it really is about all of them intersecting. It's research informing policy and practice, and it comes back. Practice informs helps us to rethink and ask hard questions around what we want to know more about and how we can go about doing that. So we salute this experience and this wonderful opportunity. And part of what we do now is we point to next year, because there's a next year Summer Institute, and I'm going to give you a sneak preview about what that's about. So in November 11, Early Years Study 3, authored by Dr. Fraser Mustard, Mark McCain, and Carrie McCaig, will be launched, and we're looking forward to that. And we anticipate that the report will be an audit about how we're doing and pushing forward on early childhood policies and practices. So, you ask, why? Well, next summer, the Institute, we're going to follow up on these findings and recommendations of the report. We're hoping to bring in international exemplars from Australia and California of communities and governments and foundations working together to align early childhood in schools into an integrated platform. And we'll be looking at the professional education and learning opportunities that must accompany public policy and investment if we want to be the best we can be for young children and their families in this province. So on behalf of Jenny Jenkins and Jeanette Pauche and myself, we officially close this year's Summer Institute and invite you for next year, and please join us for a glass of wine in saluting Fraser. Thank you.